So what's in question here is the 14th Amendment, which guarantees that any child who is born on U.S. soil, regardless of who their mother, who their father is, regardless of that person's immigration status, that they become a full-fledged American citizen. The president here, there's been some talk in the past of people coming, tourists to the United States to give birth here so that they can bestow citizenship onto their children. What the president really is targeting here is illegal immigration. This is a topic the president has returned to again and again, one that he is really focusing on in the lead up to the midterm elections, using this caravan of Central American migrants who are still many hundreds of miles away from the border, but trying to drum up that fear, trying to portray this picture of, in his words, an invasion of illegal immigrants who are coming to the country, trying to break the laws, trying to sneak through the border, and then trying to have children here to bestow their children with American citizenship. This was something that we heard from President Trump on the campaign trail. Back in 2015, back in 2016, the president often talked about how he wanted to end birthright citizenship. He said that he believed that it was possible to do so using an executive order, potentially done through Congress, instead of using a constitutional amendment, which is what almost every scholar you talk to says would be necessary. But what we've seen over the last couple of weeks as we get closer and closer to the midterm elections is that the president is focusing on immigration and putting forward a whole bunch of proposals, some of them reasonable, many of them not practical, that he is throwing out there as he tries to rally his base going into these elections next Tuesday. So the president claims that some of his legal advisors have told him that it would be possible to undo birthright citizenship through executive action. The president is somebody who, once he gets an idea into his head, is sometimes hard to move away from that idea, and the president sometimes surrounds himself by people who are willing to tell him things that he wants to hear because it helps them stay on his good side.
We can't let people break in and assault our country. We can't let, you saw the caravan.
So far, the reaction that we've seen from Republicans is pretty mixed. We've got, for instance, Lindsey Graham, a former critic of the president who has now become very close with him, applauding the president for making this an issue, saying that he's long believed that this is something that should change. But on the other side of the spectrum, you have Paul Ryan. He is somebody who is very careful with his words. He's very infrequently is someone who will go out and criticize the president with any kind of harsh rhetoric. And here you had him coming out. He was speaking on a podcast earlier today, and he said this is just not how this is going to work. You can't change birthright citizenship through executive action.